Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to look at quite a rare opening for black, and it's called the Englund Gambit, and it's where black sacrifices their e-pawn to gain some counterplay. Now, this is no way played at top level. In fact, some players say it's probably the worst possible move to play against white, or 1d4 anyway. And yeah, but it's quite good to know, especially at amateur level, because it could be a good surprise to play in bullet or blitz. So the Englund Gambit is where white plays d4, and now black sacrifices a pawn straight away with the move e5. So offering white a pawn, and the main idea for black is to gain quick counterplay with moves like d6, f6, or just queen to e7, and knight c6, and try and win the pawn back. So this trap line for the Englund Gambit is quite interesting. So it goes like this: white takes on e5, and straight away black develops with knight to c6, attacking the e5 pawn and threatening to win back their pawn straight away. So white obviously will defend with knight to f3, defending their pawn they just won. But now black plays queen to e7. So there's now two pieces attacking the pawn, threatening to win their pawn back, and there's one piece defending it. Now the main line goes like this: white usually plays the move bishop to f4, and this is where black's trap line can come in. The trap line goes like this: black now has a secret weapon, queen to b4 with check, attacking the bishop and also checking the king at the same time. Of course, there's the way out of this. White can play bishop to d2, but now black picks up the b2 pawn, queen takes b2, wins the pawn back, and is now attacking the rook in the corner of the board, and now white has to defend it. And this is where white can severely go wrong here. If they play the move bishop to c3 now to attack the queen, and also defend their rook in the process, this is actually not a great move, because black can play the counter-attacking move, bishop to b4 here. The point being is now the bishop on c3 is pinned by black's bishop against white's king. And here now white can go really wrong. The trap goes like this: if white now plays this move, queen to d2, black can play bishop takes c3, attacking the queen. The queen is now pinned. So after a move like queen takes c3, it's actually mate in one with queen to c1 checkmate for black. And yeah, that's the trap line of the Englund Gambit. So e5 is a very tricky line. After pawn takes and knight c6, typically white does have to defend this pawn with knight to f3. And after queen to e7, attacking the pawn twice, there are some other moves that white can play in this position. So bishop f4 isn't mandatory here. For instance, white can avoid all the complications with a move like queen to d5, but then black could play f6, and the point being is now black gains speedy development, attacking the queen, and once the queen drops back they can play moves like d5. So at the expense of the pawn, black's got a very nice lead in development. However, many grandmasters and top players would say that white is probably doing better, because after all, a pawn is a pawn at the end of the day. But just going back as well, again, white also plays knight c3 in this position, allowing black to win back their pawn after queen takes. Again, an even game. Black's won back their pawn, and many theoreticians will probably say that actually still white is doing much better here. But even after white plays bishop to f4, it's still not completely lost for white. After queen to b4, the best move is not actually bishop to d2 here. White should play now knight to c3, because there's a counter-attacking trap for white here. For instance, if queen takes the bishop, white just plays knight to d5, hits the queen, hits the pawn on c7, and there's no way to defend the c7 pawn without sacrificing your queen. So after black plays queen to e4 here, there's knight takes c7 with check, king d8, white can take the rook on a8, and now black can take on e5. And I put here it's a very complex position, but white should be better here. Black may be able to pick up the knight on a8 at some point, but white should now just counter-attack with moves like just developing the pieces, maybe just like e3, get the bishop out, get the queen out, and just castle queenside or something. And even if we get to this position though, after queen to b4, even after bishop to d2, white still isn't lost, because after queen takes b2, attacking the rook once again, we've just seen bishop to c3 is a pretty bad move, but white can play knight to c3. And again, white's got a decent position and should be better here. Because after bishop to b4, the main line of the Englund Gambit actually goes like this, with rook to b1, queen to a3, and rook to b3, followed by queen to a5. Even if not even rook b3 here, knight d5 is actually a very strong move for white. And after takes, the knight on d5 is hitting c7, forcing black to play king to d8. So yeah, in this position, white should just play knight c3 and they're fine, because bishop c3 runs into a lot of problems after bishop to b4. We've seen what happens after queen to d2, queen takes and queen c1 with checkmate. Even if white plays bishop takes b4 in this position, black can play knight takes b4, and the queen's attacking the rook on a1, and the knight's attacking c2. And of course knight to a3 doesn't do anything, because black just takes it off. And black has a much better position. So let's run through it one more time. The main gambit trap goes d4 e5, takes, knight c6, knight to f3 to defend the pawn, queen e7 attacking the pawn twice, bishop to f4 to defend once again, and queen to b4 with check, bishop to d2, and queen takes b2, followed by bishop c3, bishop b4 to pin the bishop. And again, if white plays queen d2, they actually lose the game after bishop takes bishop, queen takes, and queen c1 is amazingly checkmate. So if you're playing with the black pieces, that's the trap. And if you're playing with white, I highly recommend, after we get to this position with queen to b4, just play knight to c3, because if queen takes f4, white has the nice move knight d5, like we discussed, attacking the queen, attacking that c7 pawn. And if we just go a step back, even if queen takes b2 for black here, the best move for white is to play bishop to d2. You're still got equal material, and actually white's got an amazing lead in development and can start harassing this queen with moves like rook to b1, followed by knight to b5 once the queen moves to a3. So that's how you deal with the Englund Gambit trap, and that's how you play it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.